The lights in the amphitheater were not warm or gentle. They pulsed like cold stars, sharp and strange. Alien delegates filled the tiered seats, whispering, laughing, their voices full of mockery. The wide center floor was empty, except for one figure. A human girl. Is that a child? Sneered a tall alien with crystal skin and a voice that sounded like broken glass. She's not even augmented, spat a scaly diplomat from the FX Dominion. His forked tongue flicked as he laughed. 15-year-old Ji Wuan stood alone in the center. She wore a simple jacket and cracked glasses, but her eyes were steady. She did not flinch. Above the chamber, on a high black platform wrapped in glowing cables, something impossible waited. A dragon. It was massive, its golden scales dulled by confinement. Heavy chains pinned its wings and neck. Its eyes blazed like stars full of rage and pain. No one had heard it speak. They thought it was just a beast. But Giwu knew better. She had heard something else in its voice. Something more. Speak. Human, barked a threlled diplomat with 3 eyes and metal skin. We grow tired of your tricks. The beast is silent. Giwu didn't answer him. Instead, she looked up at the dragon. Then she knelt, respectfully, calmly. Slowly, she touched the translation tablet on her wrist, hummed to life. I hear you, she whispered to the dragon. Please listen. The dragon blinked once. The tablet glowed. Then, to the shock of the entire summit, a voice boomed across the hall. You speak, child of fireless ones. Every alien froze. Silence fell like a heavy stone. The dragon had spoken. Giwu smiled softly. She stood up. I studied your voice, she said. The others called it noise. But I heard patterns. I heard meaning. This is fake, shouted another delegate. She hacked the system. Gu ignored them. She switched off the translator. Then, using her own voice, she spoke again. Her words were strange and musical, full of deep hums, sharp clicks and soft pulses. They echoed with rhythm and light. The dragon's golden eyes widened. You carry flame in a paper body. What is your name? Jiwu, she said, and I want to help you. The room exploded in noise. Alarms buzzed. The guards stepped forward. Delegates shouted for her arrest, but the dragon only moved its head slightly. Its wings twitched. They do not remember the pact. What pact? Giwu asked. The dragon looked down at her. Long ago, when your world was still young, your kind shared the first flame. We gave you stars, you gave us songs, but war came. Memory faded. Now they lock me in chains. Giwu turned to the crowd. You enslaved something that helped build the first gates. It's not just an old beast. It's a being with history, with pain. And you silenced it? Absurd, barked a delegate. She rewrites history with fairy tales. She speaks not to rule, but to understand. Cables snapped with a sound like thunder. Fire rolled across the chamber ceiling. Some raised weapons. Blasters charged. Shields lit up. Jiwu didn't move. She stepped toward the dragon. If you go now, they'll hunt you, she said. Yes, the dragon answered. Then take me with you. The dragon paused. For a long moment, it only stared at her. Why? Because I don't want a seat in their courts, Giwu said. I want to learn the songs they buried. I want to speak the languages they erased. The dragon bent low. Then climb, Gu went forward and grabbed a cable, swinging up to its back. She clung to the warm scales, heart pounding. Dragon roared again, louder than anything she had ever heard. Then it leaped. They burst through the dome of the summit hall, glass and metal flying around them. Guards fired too late. The dragon soared above the city, above the towers, into the clouds. Jiwu's eyes filled with wind and stars. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She laughed. 3 weeks later, a galactic transmission moved faster than any before it. The girl who spoke flame has left Earth. She rides the Ancient One. She has broken protocol. She speaks in fire. Some called for her capture. Others offered rewards. Some feared her. Some were curious, but none could find her. Gu and the dragon were always gone before ships arrived. Like smoke in the stars, they visited old ruins on dead moons. They hovered above broken gates lost to time. She listened to echoes. She sang to machines that had forgotten sound. The dragon helped her learn. There are more like me, the dragon said one day, sleeping, bound, hidden, forgotten. Then, we'll wake them, Jiwoo said. Why? 'Cause I want to hear their stories too. A flame remembered in the dark corners of the galaxy. Something was changing. A girl with no armor, no army, no throne, just her voice and a dragon. Together, they sang in languages no one remembered. They whispered to lost systems. They opened old gates with words instead of war. Aliens who once mocked her began to listen. Some reached out, curious, or some tried to silence her. But the fire had already spread. The dragon was no longer just a relic, and Jiwoo, she was the girl who spoke flame, not to conquer, not to command, but to remember and to remind the stars. There is still wonder in the voice of a child.